And we're live. Welcome everybody to Pages from Rock Bottom. I'm Matt. This is my wife Kim, and tonight we are joined by Kimmy Dawn.
Not Kimmy Jane. Tonight's episode of Survival was the only beginning, and I just want to say we have a trigger warning we have to do at every episode. So if you guys are easily triggered, please. We're having some technical difficulties tonight, guys. So just bear with us. This episode contains discussion of addiction, childhood sexual abuse, overdose, domestic violence, trauma, law discretion is advised. Please step away. Hear yourself, please. Because some things can be triggering for people, and I know I get trauma triggered a lot sometimes. So just be gentle with yourself. All right, Kimmy Dawn, tell us who you are and where you're from.
I'm John Cochran. I'm Maya. I've been in and out of rehabs and since 2020. I have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. And I don't know where you want me to go from there. I'm a student in college. I've got 1 year left for my bachelor's in criminal justice. And I'm getting ready to get my CDCAs renewed. So.
Yes! Yay! That's awesome. I have my CDCA and my peer support. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So your story about survival, resilience, and fighting strength even after the unmanageable trauma. So take us back to where it all began for you.
So recovery started for me in 2020. I was clean almost 3.5 years. I had my own home, my daughter, my granddaughter, her boyfriend living with me. I was a counselor, house manager at a treatment center, and my daughter's boyfriend went missing, and we found him deceased in a pond 2 days later. And after that, I lost everything, you know what I mean? Like, broke the relationships that I had built with my children, because I'd given them 3 years of the real me, the good me, you know what I mean? And then, so I've been fighting for, 8 months today to get my life rebuilt and back on track. In that time, my boyfriend came home from prison. He was relapsing on and off, and then things got really bad, and it got very physical. In July, he ended up breaking my arm, and since August, I've had 6 surgeries. I almost lost my arm back in January due to an infection. So I'm still working on getting that repaired, but it's a lot better now than it was. It was really, really bad, but now I'm able to get some movement out of it, and able to just start doing the therapy and things like that with it. So right now I'm just working on rebuilding my life and rebuilding something better than what I had with the kids, and working on me.
That can be hard sometimes, especially when you're getting out of an abusive relationship. But
yeah,
I know the impact that can have on somebody's mental health. So, kudos to you. If you ever need somebody to talk to, you know what I mean? I'm here. I'm just a text away. You can text me anytime. Just saying. What's your question?
When you look at your life today compared to where you once were, what does that transformation feel like?
Well, it's been rough because I literally was at the top and crumbled right back to the bottom, lower than, you know what I mean? Like, my rock bottom has a basement, basically. And this went there. Like, I was living at the pond where my son-in-law drowned. And I just, it was nothing but misery. Like, I didn't really think I was going to come back from it. Like, it took a lot for me to get the courage to come back, because I had counseled and stuff through several different treatment centers. And so, like, to humble
Yeah.
myself, come back and be on the other side, like, that's been really challenging for me. But I just keep doing it every day, because I know that my kids and my grandkids deserve the best me, and I deserve it, because I've been through a lot and I've overcome a lot. And I think that I have a lot to offer somebody. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm working on today.
you definitely do. So you were born and raised in Ironton, Ohio. What was life like growing up there?
Well, life was okay. Like, I was adopted by my dad, and my mom worked 2 jobs. She was basically the breadwinner. My dad was a partier, so, like, we were taught what happens in the house stays in the house, and it was just like the normal for him to be smoking weed, drinking on the weekends, whatever. There was some times, like as a teenager, where I faced some childhood trauma, from my adopted dad. And I think that was one of the worst things for me as a kid, because I've never really talked about it. Because instead of it being handled, I got sent to live with my cousin. So then I was just taught basically that you just push that under the rug and it's over with. You don't talk about it, basically out of sight, out of mind, kind of. And so, like, that was hard for me, but I basically buried all that until recently. Like, when I come to treatment this time, it was going to be to handle my trauma from the death and the domestic violence. It was, and let's go back to childhood, until I got a good counselor that was like, let's go back to the very root of it. So I've just recently been like pulling that out. And like, some days are hard, but I don't have any contact with him now. Like, I just don't have it. He still uses. I want something better for my life. And so I just don't have any contact with him. So sometimes it's hard because, my mom has dementia. So it's hard she doesn't remember a lot about stuff, and now I do. It's like, but today she would kill somebody for me. You know what I mean? Today, like, she would protect me with everything she has. And that's, I guess, the difference. Her getting away from him made a big difference.
So you got 3.5 years. Life's going amazing, right? And then some more trauma happens. You relapse. Like, what was your mindset when you went back to treatment? Like, what am I missing? Or did you have an idea what you needed to work on?
My thing was, I needed to deal with the trauma that I hadn't been dealing with. And also, like, I really don't have an explanation as to why I'm still here. You know what I mean? Because there was times that I should have not made it back this time. So I knew that this was it. This was it. No matter what I had to deal with when I got here, I had to deal with it, because I don't have another recovery in me, and I know that. I come in beaten, like literally broken. You know what I mean? So it's like, I knew that I had to fight through, no matter what was going on or what I was faced with. I had to stand strong and fight through it, because there's not another recovery for me. This is it. So that I know that I have to keep pushing every day, because I really don't think that I would ever come back again. Not, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I knew this had to be it. This had to be my stopper.
So that was your motivation, pretty much. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you tell yourself that every day? Like,
Yeah.
I don't have another one in me.
Yep. And I also, because I mean, I still have the scar and everything. I just got the brace off my arm and the stitches out last week. But like, every day I have that to look at. Like, this is what happens when you relapse. This is where you go. You get with bad people. You get with people that you think love you, and you get hurt, and you're not going to make it back the next time. Because I barely made it back this time, and I know that.
Yeah. So you talked about, like, in your description that you sent me, that you didn't find out that you were adopted until later in life. How did finding that out impact?
Well, it impacted me a lot because I found out the day of my brother's wedding, and I was already married, had 3 children. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, you couldn't even tell me like, this is great. Did I marry into my family and not know? Because I didn't even know who my dad was. I had no clue. And
Right.
So I missed my brother's wedding, which was something that was, and I will forever regret that because that was his special day. You know what I mean? And I can't ever take that back. But
Yeah.
and our relationship has been torn to shreds like a lot. You know what I mean? Like right now we talk, and I'm currently working on that with him. But I also have to do it at his face because like I hurt my brother. He looked up to me. You know what I mean? And I let him
Yeah.
down many times. But it impacted me a lot. Like I had a lot of, I don't want to say hatred toward my mom. I had a resentment, and I felt like a man that adopted me something,
Oh,
because when he adopted me, but then also there's trauma with him too. So it's like, you adopted me for what? And I question that a lot now.
right.
So
Yeah. So I would question it too. Like it's as somebody who's been down that road, like, touched as a child, I don't think people truly understand that what it makes a child unless you go through it. You know what I mean? Because you
yeah,
said that I want to touch base on that just a little bit because you said that when you did say something that you got shipped off to your aunt's house
to my cousins, yeah. I had to
by your
go
cousin.
with him. Yeah.
So what did that make you feel like? Like, do you feel like your mother was choosing a man over
Yeah,
you, or did
I did. I was really hurt because it was, you can't say nothing because you're going to tear your brother to shreds. At that my alive and living next to us, and it was like, you're going to be downing her child. That's going to break her heart, and so it was just made. I was just made to keep it quiet. Like very few people in the family knew, and nobody was allowed to say anything.
mm,
So, and it was hard. It was hard for a while until I just buried it. Like I said, I hadn't even really thought. Like I even later on, when I caught my felonies, my mom and dad had custody of my kids, and so then when all that brought and it did dawn on me, then you know what I mean. Like I just buried it so deep, but then now, like when I brought it back, when it did come back to surface, I'm like, man, like what do I not know? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like want to ask my kids that don't really know how, because like I said, this is the first time I've ever spoke of it other than like in an individual. So you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that would be a fear of mine too, for sure. If
Hmm.
I was you,
Yeah.
you'll get there. You know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate your courage. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Thanks.
It takes a lot of strength to even discuss that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been, this one has been my hardest comeback, but I feel like I could probably get through anything now because I basically have. So
Aw, yeah.
I think that's
So,
that keeps me going.
did you start? What age did you start using?
About 13, about 13, 14, I started smoking weed, drinking, puffing gas out of the four wheelers, things like that.
Oh my God, I used to do that. We used to get gas and stick it in like the big pill bottles, and we walk down the road
Yeah.
just huffing gas, and everything would taste like bread. It was so
Yeah.
freaking weird.
We
Yeah,
would go in
like,
the
and we would.
woods, and like we was only there for like 15 minutes. It's like 3 hours long. Families looking for us kind of deal.
Yes, and sometimes
Yeah.
you pass the fuck out. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Those were crazy days, crazy days.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah, you
time
would find out.
when I went back out, the first time I used, I died. I overdosed. My boyfriend had to Narcan for 3 times. He had to do CPR. Like it was just me and him in the house. It
Yeah,
was the day after my daughter's boyfriend's funeral. Like, it was really bad. And that I think was another hard thing. Like seeing my daughter so broken and not knowing how to mom her. You know what
oh,
I mean? What you do to
yeah,
help her. Nothing in this world would have made anything better. I didn't know how to handle seeing her that way. I didn't know how she was feeling. I knew how I was feeling because of it, but I just couldn't
Yeah.
picture how it was for her because she had a baby. You know, I mean, he left behind a 2-year-old at the time, my granddaughter, and and so all of that at once, and then just been like, plus my boyfriend using and having it at the house. I just didn't want to feel. It was like, okay, here, we're going to do this, and I died the first time I got high. I literally died. So that was a big eye opener because then it was. Then he told me he only brought me back because the neighbors knew he was the only one in the house with me. So it's like, okay, it wasn't even really out of love. It's because you don't want to deal with the cops. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's definitely
And that's
hard.
awful that you have to think like that, but it's probably the truth. You know what I
That's
mean? That we've been
that's yeah, that's real life. So for real. So,
yeah. All right. So you said something very powerful that drugs were the solution, not the problem at first. What did you mean by that?
the drugs were my solution to the me problem because I was the problem. You know what I mean? My choices, my decisions were the problem, but the drugs were what resolved it to me. That was what helped me cope with it and get through it. And so for a long time, the drugs were not the problem. They were my coping skill. I didn't know any other way to cope with anything. And
Yeah.
doing those, I didn't feel, I didn't think, I didn't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Until I sobered
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's it. You get high and then you ain't gotta you don't really, I mean you do, you think about stuff, but
Yeah.
as soon as you get
I
high
didn't
again, you don't
dwell
think
on
about
it.
it for a while.
Yeah, I sit and dwell on it, but then I'm just like, well, there ain't nothing you can do about it, so let's get high again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what the drug makes you do. It just tells you, well, get
Yeah.
another hit. It'll fix it. It'll go away. Fix it.
Yep,
It's
for
crazy.
sure.
So you mentioned smoking marijuana with your adopted father while still in school. What did that situation look like for you?
That's when that's when all the abuse started.
Mm.
And it was like basically like I'm smoking weed with him, so can't tell because then I'm gonna get in trouble too, kind of deal until I did tell. So because it became something that was awkward around the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How did your drug use progress from there?
Well, for a while, weed was okay. I didn't need nothing more. But then eventually, the crowd I was hanging out with, and then I wanted a different buzz. I wanted to feel something different. And the next step was cocaine. I got married. We would have little Super Bowl parties, and we would always get cocaine, and you know what I mean. And so it was just one thing after another. From there, it was pain
Yeah.
pills. You know what I mean?
Woo.
And but yeah, and it was just once in a while thing, couple times a year, whatever, income tax, whatever. But then it got to where it always led me to something more. And that's why the other day I said it is a gateway drug for me because weed is always a gateway drug for me. I always start smoking weed and then I'm like, well, I want something different.
Yes, because
So
you open everything back up in your brain, and you let that person out of the cage up there, and they're like, "Oh, well, this isn't what we're going for. You
right.
released me for this." That's
Yeah.
what mine would say anyway. She'd be like, "You know, this isn't what you
That's
want."
like I used to run around and say, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have a drinking problem. I don't have a drinking problem until I do. And then I do.
Girl, I had an all for everything problem.
Yeah. When I start
There
drinking, I
wasn't
drink, I get drunk. When I get drunk, I do other drugs.
same. You know, same. You know, I couldn't just drink. So
Right.
it was always I had something else with it,
Yeah.
whether it was cocaine or pain pills or whatever I could get my hands on
Yeah.
type shit.
By the end of it, how I was. I didn't care. I didn't care what it was. I did get to the point that if I couldn't put in a needle, I didn't want it. And that I think was my worst was when I got strung out on the needle and literally I was more addicted to the actual needle than the dope in it. And that's a scary thing when you
Yeah,
realize that that's your problem.
yeah, yeah. And that, you know, that's a lot of people that happens to.
Yeah.
Mm.
get addicted to watching the blood go up, and you know what I mean? It's just,
Everything. Yeah.
yep.
So during these years, you're also raising your kids. What did life look like trying to balance addiction and motherhood?
Oh,
Are you talking about when I was clean or
When you're in
clean?
addiction,
and addiction.
Oh, my whole life was chaos. Like even before the 3 years clean, when I had custody of my kids and stuff, because I had them until I caught my felony. Um, Life was chaos. It was chaos. I would give them $5 and send them to Wendy's. Get out of my face. You know what I mean? I wasn't a mom, and I was always that one that would say, "Well, at least I have my kids with me." And that's where most of my daughter's trauma comes from. Is me dragging her from trap house to trap house because she stayed with me. You know what I mean? All the time, and so it was nothing but chaos, and it was even worse on them because they had to see all the effects of it. Like they seen
yeah.
everything, they wanted to or not. So,
That's
and I didn't
fucked up as
have like these secrets from my kids. I just told them everything. You know what I mean?
but as fucked up as it is to say, is it fair to say that you justified your use by saying it's okay because at least I have my kids? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's what I
That's
would
my
say. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not like that, mom. At least I have my kids with me. The state
Right.
hasn't. When in all rights, the state should have had them for a long time before, you know what I mean, they actually got them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So addiction eventually brought some heavy consequences into your life: homelessness, broken relationships, felonies, losing custody of your children.
Yeah.
What was that period like for you?
Well, at one point I went on the run from felony probation. It was during COVID. And my kids were, their dad had gotten in. One was in the group home, one was at his grandma's. And then my daughter was with her dad. They weren't allowed to see me because I was on the run. And it was, even then was chaos because they would be running away from their dad's house to try to see me. You know what I mean? And I'm just partying and I'm just letting them do whatever. You know, I think at one time all of us was on the run, but they were from juvenile court. I was from felony court. Like, my daughter was like 14 and wrecked a car she stole. You know what I mean? Like, it was just chaos. We're all just
Oh,
doing all this stuff that is amounting to nothing but hell. And I think for me then it was the worst feeling in the world to not be allowed to have my kids. That now I look back and I know that was God saving them kids from me and my addiction. Because at that point I had gotten high with every one of them, every one of them. You know what I mean? That door of opportunity to every single child I had. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Because then I justified it. Well, if they're getting high with me. I'm not going to let them die. I'm not going to let nothing happen to them. You know what I mean? When in reality, like, stop your shit. You're not even close to protecting them. You're harming them.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it. So this way, me getting taken away from them or them away from me was probably the best thing that could have happened to them at that time.
For sure.
Our
So,
disease will use that to justify what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Addiction they don't discriminate. Your addiction doesn't discriminate at all. It doesn't
right.
care if it's your kid, your grandma, your grandpa, if it's a
Yeah.
nurse, if it's a doctor.
And
Addiction
like when
doesn't
my
care.
house got raided, my daughter was the only person they left there. Like the cops come in, they raided the house, they took every adult in the house and left my daughter. I had to send her to the
Yeah.
neighbors. She was it. And so she's seen all of that. She's seen me
Yeah.
get arrested. And then so that's what's been the hardest this time around is she's seen me go from the lowest to the top and then right back down. And it was at the worst time of her life. It was at the time that she needed me more than anything in this world. And I just couldn't hold up to it.
Yeah.
So,
Mm. So by 2020, you were homeless, running from probation, weighing around 100 pounds.
yeah.
What was going through your mind during that time?
I had also overdosed then in May. I went to treatment June 6th and Memorial Day I overdosed. I just knew I had helped somebody cut off an ankle monitor. Like was headed to prison, and like I just knew that when I was caught, it was over. Like the run was done. And after I after I overdosed, I kind of went in to a friend's house that was sober and kind of detoxed there a little bit, and then I went to treatment under the promises that nobody was going to tell probation until I was done detoxing. And thank God, I met Kathy Ross, and she held me in treatment. I got I was still kind of sick, but I ended up getting $10,000 cash. And so I went to her and I was like, look, I got all this money, and if I leave, I'm going to die. But if we don't go to probation, I'm going to get well. Like, that's the end of it. So we went and turned me into probation. And because I had an advocate with me and I had already been in treatment for a few days, a week, whatever, and I couldn't go to detox because it was COVID. They had no detoxes open. We tried everywhere, you know what I mean? So I was detoxing there. So I paid off all my fines and they let me stay in treatment, but I had to finish it before I could get off probation. So
What? That's awesome.
they were tired, but they were with me. Had it not have been for COVID, and back then they didn't want nobody in the jail or whatever. And I think had it not been for that and the fact that I just gave him $5,000, I'd probably been in prison because I was not an easy person to be on probation, especially when I was whacked out of my mind. Because I didn't just run from them. Like I would call them and harass them. You know what I mean? Just I sit now and think like stupid. They're not thinking about you, and I'm telling them, yeah, you are. I know you was watching me from the bushes. Like, no, they were not. You know what I mean? Like it was really bad. It was really bad. So
Yeah.
got lucky. I got extremely lucky.
So what made you decide to even do treatment?
The overdose. The overdose and the fact that the guy I had helped cut the monitor off for was going to do 8 years. And I was scared to death that I was going to, yeah. My biggest fear at that point was because I had not seen my mom in months, almost a year. And so then my biggest fear was I'm going to go to prison and my mom's going to die and I'm never going to forgive myself. So at least if I'm in treatment, I'll call my mother and go see her.
Your first time going into treatment, were you like, what was your mindset like? Okay, as long as I get rid of the drugs, like everything else, I'll be fine.
I was just tired. I was exhausted from running because I'd been running for over a year. And I was running in my own hometown where I knew they were looking at for me during COVID. Everybody's supposed to be on house arrest, and I'm out here acting a fool. You know what I mean? Like, thank God they were following the house arrest. But
yeah,
not good. And I was just tired. I was tired of looking over my shoulder. I was tired of sleeping at the cemetery. I was tired of make somebody mad. They're calling on you. Like I was just so tired of the whole thing. And that was my first overdose too. And it scared the shit out of me.
I think I could probably overdose 8 times, maybe 10 in my addiction. And I don't think any of them scared me.
That one scared me. The second one didn't. I was just like, okay, thanks for waking me up. You know what I mean? I got to go.
Right.
This
But
last
that's the insanity of it.
You know, started because then I was like, well, everything's already happened. I've done destroyed my kids. Like my daughter needs me. I can't even look at her. You know what I mean? So there ain't no the last overdose just kind of set the tone to, well, and I can remember even saying like, I'm just going to live up to the expectations of everybody else. They all think I'm a junkie. I'm just going to tell them I'm a junkie. You know what I mean? And that's what I was running around saying this last time. Like I really didn't think there was any hope for me to come back this time.
Gonna show them, huh?
Yeah. Well, it
So
took a lot of stuff. My little cousin was hit by a drunk driver and almost lost his life. He's an amputee now. He's 22 years old and he's paralyzed from the neck down. He's an amputee, you know what I mean? And I watched him fight through all of that. And I think that was what really set it in me like, you are not that weak. Like, look what he wouldn't even take pain meds, you know what I mean? And going and seeing him when he finally made it home after 71 days, And I was sitting on the porch with his mom, which is really close cousin of mine. And she's like, I know who you are. I know who that person is deep down. And I'm like, no, she doesn't exist anymore. I get emotional a bit. And she's like, she does exist. Like, I just need you to find her and pull yourself out of there. And the next day I went to treatment.
Aww. So after treatment, you
Hero.
stayed, huh?
I tell everybody he's my hero. Yeah. I'm sitting in the hospital, dope sick as hell, and he's in there just fighting for his life. You know what I mean? And just to see
Yeah.
that strength from somebody that young, you know, it was definitely a life changing experience for me.
Aww.
So
So you stayed sober after 3.5 years. What helped you build a foundation in recovery?
sober support, meetings, and staying connected.
There it is.
Yeah.
She said it. Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Athens family up there? You know what I mean? He's like, Athens back in the house, showing some love, guys. Yeah. You didn't just recover, you began helping others. What worked as a counselor, house manager, and transport supervisor while also being a full-time student? What did that chapter in life mean to you?
Oh, it was at the time it meant everything to me because it was every bit of it was something I never thought I would have. And then to know that I built that on my own, you know, I did the work for all that. And it was the only time in my life I really felt pure joy and happiness because I was thriving
During that
and
time, how'd you
really thrived at all in life. And to do that, I was thriving.
Yeah.
So during that time, how did your relationship with your family and your children begin to change?
Oh, everything was like, man, me and my daughter enjoyed life. Like we lived it up. You know what I mean? I was able to find happiness even in the little things, and to the relationships that I was able to fix and build was amazing. Like it was all things that I never thought would happen. I never thought my mom would trust me at her house. I never thought that my brother would ever send me money or think of me as a sister again. You know what I mean? And like to have that, it was something important.
Yeah. So I know we've already touched base on this, about the tragedy of losing your daughter losing her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
How did that loss affect you and your family?
It devastated us because all we knew was there was a lot of different stories been told. These kids were scared at that party because they were at a party and the cops got called and the kids ran, and that's how I became missing. And all we knew was that there was several different stories been told. We had no answers. We couldn't find him. You know what I mean? Like, and it potentially tore my family apart for a moment because my middle son was at the party that night. And so he went to prison shortly after. And it left a lot of question in the beginning because we didn't know what really happened. Like, what really happened? Who did what to him? Why were the stories changed? There was just so many questions and no answer. To this day, my family is torn from that. And I don't ever get completely over it. But it was ruled an accidental drowning, and then that was it. It was just left at that. And so just not having no answers was extremely hard. And like I said, my daughter lives it every day because she's raised kids. She does that was, and I tell people, I think that the little girl that I raised is no longer there. I think that little girl died with Chase. Because she is a totally different person now. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just sucks because it's like my little innocent baby is no longer there. And like her depression is really bad. So like seeing her smile was genuine to me, because I don't know that I'll ever see that extreme, gentle, genuine smile that I had with her before. And that's what
Mm.
sucks. There's nothing that's going to change that.
Oh.
So around the same time, your partners began becoming abusive. What did that situation look like as it escalated?
Mm.
Well, it was crazy because it was constant arguing and fighting and putting our hands on each other and him running off, and you know what I mean? And then it got real bad. Like he wrecked me into a telephone pole high. And then that was not this past year, the year before that. And I always justified everything that he did because he's high. He's high. The drugs are making him do it. But when he broke my arm, he was sober. And I think
Oh.
that's what I tell everybody, like, this all had to happen exactly how it happened in order for me to leave, in order for me to get away. Because I would have never, my loyalty runs so deep with him, I would have never left him. And the trauma bond that we had is horrible. And I still have it. There's still days that I miss him, and I know that I shouldn't, but I'd be lying if I sat here and said, oh, I just don't even think about him. I do every single day, because he's back to using. So I worry about him. And it was, that was really something I had never, I mean, I'd been with guys that like we would shove each other around or whatever, but to the extent that it got, and that's what really broke me, is because somebody I had invested in for 5 years, that I gave my all to, you know what I mean, left me beat down and was okay with it.
Yeah.
So that hurt more, I think, more than the actual relapse, honestly, because internally, you know what I mean? Because once because I could go to rehab for and stop using, you know what I mean? I could get on Suboxone for a little bit and stop using, but
Yeah.
nothing, no amount of drugs or anything I did would take that kind of hurt away from me.
So you said that you missed him. What is it that you today miss about him?
I think really it's not even the missing him. It's the missing what I thought we were going to be, what I expected us to be. Or just been lonely and like just knowing, because I know for me, there's no way I could not even check on him if I knew I'd done all that damage. And I think
Yeah.
that's for me, like, you don't even try to check and see if I'm okay. And when, but I also try to surround myself with people that help me to set, you know what I mean? But loneliness is hard. You can be in a room full of people and be lonely, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it can be a really negative motivator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it always takes you down, back to those old thoughts and old, thought patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I ask you about like what did you miss about him or the relationship. So
Yeah.
and you said loneliness can get you. You know what I mean? I'm glad I'm not lonely.
When I sit and
No.
think about
You are not.
when I sit and think about it, like uh, even on our best days together, I still had thoughts in my head like, "What's about to happen? What kind of fuck shit's he do to me?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was what the normal was.
Yep.
So if I sit and think about like more of the bad times than the good, because really, even on the good times, there wasn't anything really good about it. It was still filled with worry and fear. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I can relate. I can relate with that for sure.
Have,
you know,
do you think this is carried over to other relationships you have?
oh yeah, yeah. Like I'm not in a serious committed relationship, and I don't plan to be for a long time, because I know that I have to heal. And And I also fear for my kids because I don't want them to, which they're adults now, you know what I mean? But I can sometimes see a pattern with my daughter of toxic men that are worthless, you know what I mean? Not good for her in my eyes. And I blame myself for that because that's all she's seen. Every relationship I've been in has been toxic, every one of them. And I think it's because I just want somebody to love me, want me, need me. And I don't spend time learning how to love me, want me, need me.
You said
So,
it. You said it. You know, we always want somebody else to give us what we can't, you know what I mean? That we need to
yeah,
give ourselves. It took me a long time to, figure that out too. But once I figured it out, girl, look at me now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can
I
finally look
wouldn't
myself.
settle.
I mean, like, and I do things today to make myself feel pretty, or you know what I mean. Like, I look in the mirror, I do my makeup, I do my eyelashes. I just learned to do that. I'm super proud. I learned how to stop putting my eye out, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love plants. Like plants bring me so much joy. Like that's what I invest my time in. Those little plants will just thrive if you're good to them. You know what I mean? And I spend a lot of time exploring myself, getting to know me. Like when I
Same.
was in the hospital, and remember when I had to cancel this last time, and I was in the
Yeah.
hospital. Well, it was middle of snow, that big snowstorm. Nobody could get to me, and I had 3 surgeries in 7 days, and it was just me and God. That's it. And I'm like, okay, you're teaching me to learn to be by myself, to sit with myself. You know what I mean? And it was hard to accept that, but in reality, that's what I needed because I didn't know how to sit with myself at all. So,
So
and then
is
go
it
ahead.
fair to say you're in progress of learning the difference of solitude and isolation?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah. I was very isolated up there. So I had to learn, you know what I mean? Because I was going through a lot. My body was going through a lot. I had that bad infection, all them surgeries, and I had to find something to be grateful for. You know what I mean? And it was hard, super hard, but I was, I was able to do it every day. Like even on my worst days there, I was still grateful that I wasn't out in that snow, or, you know what I mean? That I had a doctor that cared to come and check on me 6 times a day, you know, like things like that. Um, and I have to do that on my worst days. On my worst days, I still have to be grateful for something. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
another thing that makes it a lot easier, not a little bit, a lot easier on me is on my worst days, I can usually pick up the phone and FaceTime one of my grandkids. And my oldest ones are 4. They'll be 5 in April and May. And they'll always stop and talk to me. You know what I mean? So I at least have that. Where when I was out, I had that because even like my kids had never cut me off, ever. They were my little riders, you know what I mean? But this last relapse, every one of them cut me off. Every single one of them, you know, and it was a hard thing, but also that was something that was a boundary I'd set with them when they first started having kids. Like when I was clean, if I relapse, you can't let me around your kids. Look what I did to you guys. And of course, then when they
Yeah.
did, I'm like, what the hell's your problem? But that was a boundary that they had to set to protect themselves and their kids, and I get it now.
Yeah.
have you ever read the book Codependent No More?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said, you see the smile on her face when you said that? She said, yeah.
Client. Yes. Because see, my boyfriend at the time was in prison when I first got clean, and so I was out here just. That's something I always say. I can't build for myself. I was out here just building this perfect home for him to come home to, and be able to get his daughter, and then all these things. Like now, I'm learning to build for myself. But yeah, I
Yes.
write codependent no more books with my clients. Like y'all's codependent, not me. And then he comes out of prison, and boom.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm still codependent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I'll always be somewhat codependent. I'm just able to be a little bit more independent today.
yeah, more aware of
Yeah.
things. You know, I don't. People try to tell me there ain't no healthy codependency.
Interdependency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not gonna say here. Don't believe me, guys. I'm not gonna say here and sugarcoat that shit. There's probably no healthy codependency at all. You know what I mean? But I'm aware that I'm codependent,
Yeah.
and I am definitely and I work on myself on a daily basis, and I can say that. So.
Yeah.
I don't take it to the extremes I used to.
Hell no. Hell no. I don't need him to wipe my own ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Well,
definitely.
I'm just trying to learn to rewipe my own ass because I'm left-handed, and that's not. So I was like, it was like a whole new thing for me. I had to learn to write, I had to learn to eat. I'm like, damn.
Aw. Well, I mean, but you're doing better though. After your surgery and stuff, you return to treatment, right? That's
Mhm.
where.
Yep.
What was different about this time? Like what is the
Um,
drive to treatment or your motivation?
I just have I just have a lot more to live for today. You know,
Mm,
and at the end of the day, uh, my children have lost enough. When they lost Chase, they lost enough. And they don't deserve to have to lose me. Even though we
oh,
fought and we might have our moments or whatever, where we don't see eye to eye, like at the end of the day, I know that if something happened to me, that would be a loss that my kids would definitely not come back from. And I don't want them to be like that. Like, I got real suicidal when I was out there this last time. And the one thing that motivated me was my son was in prison, and I did not want a stranger to have to set him down and tell him, your mother committed suicide. I
oh,
just didn't have it. So it was like I would put it off. Well, I'm going to wait till Eli gets home. You know what I mean? Things like that. And then finally I told him, like after I started getting better, I told him like what was going on at home and how I felt and stuff because I know that he has anger issues, and I know that's something that would just set him over the edge, and he would never make it home from prison. He's been life in there. And
yeah.
this time when I got clean, like my oldest son had just had a little girl. I had not even met this baby. The day they brought her home from the hospital, I stayed like 5 minutes. I left. You know what I mean? I hadn't really got to know her. And like through this part of my recovery, like I've got to get me this little 8-month-old best friend that if I just speak to her, she smiles. You know what I mean? Like she loves gravy. And that's something too. Like seeing the way my grandkids love me, they deserve to have me.
Mm,
And I have to hold on to in the beginning till I can have enough self worth to say I'm worthy of this. Like I do that, and I have done it because they deserve to get to know me. You know, so
that they do. They
yeah.
do. It's your turn.
What has helped you keep going through the pain and uncertainty of your recovery today?
Um, I want I want more than what I had the last time, and that might
Oh,
sound selfish, but I had a great life, and I gave my kids that great life, and I gave myself that great life, and I want more than that. My grandkids are growing up. You know, I want them to have. I never want them to see me high, and two of them have. Two of them have seen me high. You know what I mean? And thank God they're young enough to not remember that. But
mm,
I want them to be able. I want to be able to make memories with them. I want to be able to make memories with them that they'll cherish forever and that they'll have forever. Because
yeah.
it's a scene to be called Granny. It really is. Like it's a whole
Oh,
nother game when you get grandkids. A whole nother ballgame. And if I
yeah.
can't myself, those are the days that I do it for them.
Oh yeah.
So today you've rebuilt relationships with your family, your children. What does that mean to you after everything you've been through?
It means everything because I didn't think my kids would give me another chance. I really
Yeah.
did it because that's a hard thing when you give them everything, all you got, and they see your best you. And they were, well, my sons were adults. And my daughter was in high school. She was a senior when I was got clean. You know what I mean? So, their whole lives, they had got the shit into me. Their entire childhood, I'd wrecked every bit of it. So to be able to give them that and then take it right back,
Mm,
and a lot for them to give me a chance. And that, like, I never thought would happen, but my grandbabies has come and stayed at the rehab with me. Like, asking my son that for the first time, like I was asking his wife, I'm like, well, do you just need a break? Do you want to let the baby spend the night? Like, I'll keep her locked in the bedroom. You know what I mean? I thought, yeah, right. This ain't happening. But he let me, you know what I mean? And like for them to trust me and let me just have the kids and take them with me wherever and know that they're going to be okay. Like, that was a big deal because I didn't think I'd ever get that trust back from them.
right.
And
So how is it having your grandkids in your life? You're healing.
that's my joy. That's my joy. If I don't do anything at all for myself, it's easy to do it for them. Now that it's come back in and clean, it's easy to do it for them. But I'd be lying if I said they were enough to get me clean because they definitely were not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always tell people like a relapse is part of my story, but it doesn't have to be part of yours. But for me personally, like my last relapse, I truly believe it had to happen, right?
Yeah.
Because I went in full self reflection, like what did I miss? What do I need to work on? Are you at a point now to where like you're starting to turn that relapse into motivation?
Whew.
Yeah, I have been. I have been. I think it really set in and got real serious when my arm got infected because I was months like telling the doctor there was something wrong with my arm, like, and then I got to where I was feeling good. I just wasn't feeling good at all. I was not feeling good at all. I could care less if I got out of bed. But then when I found out it was the infection and all them surgeries and stuff, that's when the reality hit me. Like, this is it. You might have been saying that before, but this is God telling you this is it. Like, and I even got
Yeah.
to one point where I was just like so mentally drained and my body was so drained that when they took me into the last surgery, I was like, God, just don't let me wake up because I cannot do this anymore. My body can't do this. And then when I woke up, I'm like, this is right. Then gave it back to you. There's no giving up. And so I think that was my big eye opener. No matter, I have to keep showing up.
So now you've survived addiction, trauma, domestic violence, and being near death. What does it feel like to finally wake up and feel safe and loved?
Whew. That's a good one.
It feels great because safety is a big thing for me. Like safety, I still sometimes look over my shoulder. You know what I mean? But I've let go of the fear because I know that fear is a liar. And that as long as I verbalize the things that could put me in harm's way, no matter where I'm at, somebody's going to save me or help protect
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? Especially in treatment. Like, this place really isn't like a prison. They really do care, and that's the thing. Like, being able to wake up and know that I'm safe, or even go to bed at night and know that I'm safe is a feeling I can't explain. So
It's a
it's
good
a
feeling
joy.
though, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if the woman you used to be, the one who was homeless and running for her life, could see you today, what do you think she would say to you?
You made it.
Oh,
You made it no matter what.
you did too, didn't you? Look at you.
Yeah,
Sitting there, you're telling your story, on, live, not television, but it might as well be, right?
Right.
You know, and you shared it with the world for everybody, for somebody to draw strength from. Like,
Yeah.
I think she would be proud of you. You know what I mean? She would be
Yeah.
proud of you. Like, man, or be like, man, mine would be like, what took you so long?
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you made it, but what took you so long?
Yeah. Yeah. Like my guardian angel's over there in the corner smoking cigarettes right now. I mean, like,
Right now. Oh,
What message would you give to someone watching tonight who feels trapped in addiction or abuse?
don't give up. Don't give up and don't lose your voice. Give God
don't.
go and you will be okay.
Mm.
Yep.
You know, I tell my daughter that all the time. Like, you know, closed mouths don't get heard. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
They don't get heard. And I said, nobody, you know, we can't read your mind. So if you don't, you know, open your mouth and tell us what's going on with you, we'll never know. Like, we won't know how to help you.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely reach out, speak out. Like, even if you don't think somebody's listening, I guarantee you somebody's listening. I listen all the time, just saying.
Yeah.
I love talking to people, so
I know that I don't have to be scared anymore. And that's a
yeah.
big thing.
So what does turning pain into purpose mean in your life today?
Just means that no matter what I go through, I always come out stronger. You know, as long as I don't give up, as long as I don't just lay down and take it, if I keep fighting, then I'm going to pull through it. May not be easy, may not happen today, but eventually I'll find my way out.
Well, thank you. Listen, you did amazing. You were so excited about this, and
Oh,
you
I've just told everybody, like, make sure you get on Facebook.
watch it. Yes, you know, but here, you know, on Pages from Rock Bottom, we always ask our guests a final thing before we close out, right?
Okay.
What would you say to the addict, that the survivor, or the person still suffering who feels like they can't make it out?
You can make it out. Just don't give up fighting. Reach out. Message me. Like, I'll always answer my phone. It don't matter. I'm up all throughout the night. Got me on Facebook. If you don't add me, like, reach out. Don't give up. There is somebody that loves you. You are loved.
Let
You
us love you till you
just
can
hope.
love yourself. Yes.
I used
I'll
to say that
never
all the
forget
time. No, never alone, never again. That's one of my mottos. And
that. Yeah.
I'll love you till you love yourself, and I'll sit with you in the dark until we can find a light.
Mm. I will sit with you in the dark until we can find a light. That's a good one. Send that.
Yep.
Well, thank you for trusting us with your story and sharing it with us here at Pages from Rock Bottom. And just thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that you reached back out and you were like, can you get me back on? And I'm like, yes. And then I scheduled you for a later date. Then I was like, hey, we have a cancellation.
Scheduled
And you
for
were
April
able to
6th. I just had my alarm off today for that.
say, I mean, we might need you to come back on and just have a chat with us one day. But thank you, though. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And always remember, guys, like, if you guys missed the episode, it will be uploaded to YouTube. I will be making a shirt that will go on my online store, merch store, in honor of your episode. So
Oh,
be waiting for that.
What's your favorite
let me
color?
know. Purple.
I will. Purple, whoop whoop, purple in the house.
Purple power.
We got actually quite a few quotes from your episode. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one we're going to use yet, but we're going to use maybe a couple of them. I don't know yet.
Some giddings.
Some good ones. But if you guys missed the episode, go watch it on YouTube. I'll be uploading it there. We'll be making her shirt. And then don't miss Wednesday, guys. We have Gary on Wednesday. This is somebody that I had seen his he shared a post on it was the AA. It was one of the recovery channels on Facebook, and I seen it pop up, and he wrote this big long thing about like how proud he was, for making it, so many years, and he shared like some of a little backstory and a wrecked car and all that, and I reached out to him and I was like, hey, and then introduced myself and told him who he was and what we were about, and asked him if he would be willing to share his story. So he will be on this Wednesday, guys, this Wednesday on Pages from Rock Bottom with Mr. Bear.
Thank you.
One more time, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you being vulnerable with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Be vulnerable with everybody. And I want you to keep telling yourself that your darkest moments are going to be the brightest light to other people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Being a survivor. You are.
Yeah, you are. And I can relate. And if you ever need to talk, just reach out. I will. Trust me, I will. I will message you back.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, and you have a good evening.
You too, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ashley. Ashley said, awesome job. And I want to thank everybody for their comments and all my Athens people. And
showing up and showing out.
And Misty, thank you. Woo woo. I see you're not in Facebook jail. I heard about that situation. I'm not sure what that was, but girl, I'm glad you are not. Thomas, Matt did not have to blink 3 times or twice.
Yeah.
Just saying. And everybody have a good evening and join us Wednesday with Gary.
Okay, bye.
Okay.